So we come to our sixth value. People are our greatest resource. Hebrews 10:25 says, "Do not give up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." I've had loads of conversations with Christians, people who describe themselves as ardent and passionate believers, but for whatever reason they find it difficult to connect with church. When I dig further, the people tell me of harsh treatment by so-called Christians. And it's true, the church can easily fall into the trap of becoming the moral guardians of society. We've become known more for what we're against than for what we actually believe. It's easy to see why some consider the church hypocritical, harsh and judgmental, and therefore they don't see the need of such a church. They often remain believers in God and things spiritual, even desiring to follow the example of Jesus, but their walk is hindered by their experience and their isolation. When people tell me they can be a Christian and not go to church, I'm usually clear in the response I give. I understand disappointment with church and Christians, but I don't think you can be an effective Christian without being part of the church. The church isn't here to be the moral guardian. It's not here to point out our weaknesses. It exists to champion one another, to make sure we're all encouraged to be all that God created us to be, and to fulfill the call of Christ in our individual lives. Imagine a school sports day if no one came to cheer the children on. That's why being ordered to play a football match behind closed doors is considered a severe punishment. Without encouragement, we don't achieve our best. God never intended us to live in isolation. The creation narrative tells us it is not good for man to be alone, and that's in Genesis 2. Not only does he give us lifetime companions, he gives us families. In addition to all of this, Jesus said he would build his church. That's groups of gathered believers. And he said that such a church, the gates of hell itself wouldn't defeat them. And that's Matthew 16 verse 18. I believe that when we truly stick together as Christ intended, we have a real strength that's greater than the sum of our parts, because where there is unity, the Spirit of God works, as it tells us in Ephesians 4. At this time of crisis, we are isolated, but it's even more important that we connect through social media, through Zoom, and tap in to all the resources that are available, that we might be encouraged. Our future is determined by our relationships. So as a church, we're about building our lives together. People are our greatest resource. We're not about being harsh and judgmental, but about equipping, empowering and releasing so that everyone reaches their full potential and their God-given destiny. That doesn't mean we'll ignore you when things go wrong. We may say to you, we believe you're capable of doing better than you're doing, but no matter what, we will hold to our value of honour because we believe you are our greatest resource.